kind of a root thing.
I was thinking of that as a rootish thing. Yeah.
Because that may be, if we have compassion, then we would even go to plants and animals that we believe they have something to tell us, you know. So, anyway, we can put it anywhere. So, learning from animals, plants. Somebody else. Yes.
Understanding diversity?
Understanding diversity, yes. So that's kind of a belief, maybe part of a new culture, a new belief system. All right, I'm not even going to write anything else. Let's talk about new soil and new solutions. So a lot of these flowers are like the same categories as over here, but like the new thing. So Jeff is doing composting, which is kind of like a new version of trash. So let's do composting here. I'm not even going to write it, but composting goes over there. So somebody else.
Recycling too.
Recycling, yes. So recycling is looking at the old branch and putting it over here. Yes.
Cooperation.
Cooperation. That is, I think that's a root and a flower. Yes.
How about sequestering atmospheric carbon into topsoil?
Ah, totally. So instead of walking around all day saying, "Hey, look at that flower! There's climate change! There's climate change!" What if we were spending all that energy just over here doing your thing, sequestering the carbon?
Biochar.
Biochar, exactly. Yes.
So to me that goes to the concept of instead of when people go out hiking in the national forest or something, you hear this saying, "Leave no trace."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I look at that as a saying for life, that you leave no trace. I should be more of a contributor rather than a taker or receiver.
Yes.
And instead of using, I should be contributing to society. And that's a whole mentality that's not there. We're all in the consumer track in this tree, where we are all expecting to buy and to receive everything, and what are we contributing? And we're using so much, and if we lower our use of everything and we give more than we take.
It's the conservation of energy, right?
Yeah,
and in everything,
absolutely.
in all aspects of life. I mean it
totally. So that's like a new belief. So instead of like taking, we're going to have a balance between give and take for this new tree to grow. What were you going to say?
Sharing resources.
Sharing resources. I think that's related to the same that would kind of be like what happens when you give and take equally.
I was just going to say produce more than what you consume. But that's actually one of the main reasons for why we have an issue, is that people wanted to produce more and more and more and more to have the surplus, and then now we're trying to recycle all that. We're trying to make up for all of the overproduction that we did. But producing more than you consume would mean that you give back to the foundation of the tree versus just the branches.
Totally. Right on. Yes.
I'm not sure how or if this fits into your model, but I feel like the path between one tree and the other.
This is our model, not my model. We created this.
Well, you've initiated the story, but I would say, well, okay, how do we get from this one tree to the other? I firmly believe that action is manifested thought, and that sickness in the head, in the individual and collective level, leads to sickness in the world. And I feel like our primary task is individual healing, which has a collective component.
Totally.
And that's the path from one tree to the other.
Right on. So individual healing.
Cleansing karma.
Something along those lines, yes. Well, then that's where a return to spirituality comes in, and also maybe somewhere in there, maybe the word peace or nonviolence.
Yeah, ahimsa. That's the. But yeah, so in this new tree soil, we will perhaps work on our individual healing and realize that, oh, well, living in this crazy tree with all these falling crazy leaves, maybe we've had some wounds happen to us that we need to help fix in order to be healthy soil. We gotta like pick off all these Monsanto crumbs that we have all over us. So individual
pruning.
Pruning, exactly, yeah.
I was gonna say, you have your tree, and it doesn't matter how wonderful your soil is, if you don't prune the tree,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be as good as it could be.
gotcha. So how would you apply that to the?
Well, when you see the festering starting,
I see, gotcha.
whatever it may be, then you get rid of it.
Right on.
Self-denial, there's a lot of stuff we don't need.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't-
Non-excess.
We don't need it.
Non-excess. These are great ideas. I mean, I think this brainstorm could go forever, or not forever, but for a long time. But I've been doing a lot of stuff with Transition Pittsburgh, and we're a very solution-focused group, and it's pretty much just neighbors getting together and saying, "Hey, how can we build this new tree with new soil?" And there's lots of different aspects of it. And I think the transition town movement, which is all over the world now, there's thousands of towns and cities. They have one of the best models for building this new tree. And the little acronym I like to give to describe transition is it is connecting the 3 H's and the 4 E's. So the 3 H's, when the 3 H's meet the 4 E's, then you have transition. And so the 3 H's are the heads, hands, and hearts of community. So bringing together not just people's heads, but people's hands doing projects, and also having the heart aspect, realizing that we need to do a lot of reconfiguring these things so that we can actually treat each other with kindness and things like that. And so the 4 E's, and you can probably have a lot more than 4 E's, but we focus on economy, energy, environment, and equity. So focusing on those 4 issues, we work together to do whatever sort of projects we feel are necessary. And so really we only started about a year ago, but now we have a lot of people involved, and a lot of it is just connecting people and groups together with like-minded people so they can collaborate on a project. And so our website is transitionpgh.org, and as Jeff and Aaron mentioned, we're going to be having a training here in Monroeville with Tina Clark, who's the regional trainer, and she's really inspirational and awesome. So if you're interested in transition, I think it's one of the best movements that's really growing this big tree, and I think it really does get to the core of a lot of these issues, down to the soil and the tail of the 2 trees. So thank you all.
How are
Yes.
you going to publicize the Monroeville Transition Pittsburgh training?
Hopefully it will be through Sustainable Monroeville and also through the Cedars, however they do their outreach. So
When I
blogs and stuff.
emailed back and forth with